Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.
Hey Robo fan, welcome to my review of Transformers Prime, Predacons Rising. The movie begins with an official ceremony honoring Bumblebee and promoting him from Scout to Warrior.
Man, Autobot promotions suck. Mellow Yellow just iced the baddest con. You'd think that was Field Commander material.
But it's not all parties and promotions. Optimus has to go on a mission to deep space to retrieve the Allspark. Thankfully this time the Big Bot is teaming up with Wheeljack and not Shia LaBeouf. Meanwhile, back on Terra Firma, Megatron is dead. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, Unicron can fix that. Not out of any affection for old Buckethead, but because he's planning on hitching a ride back to Cybertron inside Megatron's head. Not that the Autobots' home planet is lacking threats to peace and security at the moment, what with Shockwave and Starscream running around cloning Predacons.
There's also a moon practically crawling with vampiric Insecticons, conveniently not mentioned.
The first two vat-grown Predacons are Skylynx and Darksteel, but I call them Tweedlebash and Tweedleslash. The two galoots put Ultra Magnus in the hospital, so the Autobots, on a little advice from Knockout, are searching Megatron's old fortress, but then not Galvatron shows up, and gives the Autobots the old 1-2 punch with his bound weapons. But that's not good enough for him, so after a conversation with Predaking, Unicron decides to raise the long-dead remnants of the Predacons from the grave.
Lich King, eat your heart out.
The undead Overlord plans on ramming his dino zombies down Primus's throat.
I find your understanding of Cybertronian physiology wanting.
The point is, no Primus means no Cybertron. The Autobots plan on using Megatron's flagship to defend the opening to the planet's core. That doesn't work out so good. Then the cavalry comes riding to the rescue in the form of Predaking and his new winged monkeys. But 3 live Predacons don't stand up too good against tens of thousands of dead ones. Then, just as all hope seems lost, the man, Optimus Prime, shows up to seal Unicron's dark essence inside the Allspark container.
Phenomenal cosmic power.
Itty bitty living space.
But where did the Allspark go? To keep it safe, Optimus merged it with the Matrix of Leadership. That means in order to restore life to Cybertron, Optimus must merge the Matrix and himself with Primus. So let's pause and remember the last and greatest of the Primes.
Honey.
Megatron, on the other hand, has decided that after being abducted and tortured by Unicron, he wants to give up the whole evil thing. And Starscream gets beaten up by Predaking.
Dude missed his tutor.
I think this movie was pretty darn good. Let's start by taking the bull by the horns. Optimus Prime is dead. Again.
You know, after the first time I sort of ran out of grief.
But to be fair, this death was way better than the first one during the 80s. It was meant to accomplish something, not just for shock value and to promote this hole. But was there nowhere else the big guy could have put the Allspark? Maybe he was under a time crunch with the impending doom of Cybertron and all. A bigger surprise was not evil Megatron. I'm not sure I understand why. So Megatron was held captive and tortured by Unicron. I suppose I can understand how something like that might turn him off the whole oppression thing. But correct me if I'm wrong here, didn't he used to be a gladiator, a slave who was forced to fight for the amusement of other Transformers?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
And that raises another important question. What's he gonna do now? Get a job working as general manager at Metroplex's House of Waffles and coach Little League on the weekends?
My warriors, after years of humiliation, under my brilliant leadership, we will be champions of this year's slow-pitch softball league.
Mr. Tron, isn't the point of the game to have fun?
No! Starscream, get in line for the batting cages before Ultra Magnus does.
Yes, Coach Megatron.
It looks like Predaking is shaping up to be the big bad of the new series in 2014. He'll no doubt be getting more Predacons courtesy of Shockwave. But it was definitely a good idea to have him form an alliance of convenience with the Autobots to help fight off Unicron. Speaking of the Chaos Bringer, he's been kind of a consistent disappointment throughout Prime's run. He's the core of the Earth, so he can't really go all world-destroying supervillain. The blood of Unicron, aka Dark Energon, was an interesting idea.
Private, focus, now!
In Predacons Rising, at least the title's accurate. With a little help from not Galvatron, the Predacons certainly do rise. From the dead. So on that score, Unicron is a legit threat. The supporting cast does a really good job. This is a movie after all, so they need to share screen time, but the standout has to be Bumblebee. This was a great choice. He spent the entire series sounding like R2-D2. Bumblebee really deserved a chance to shine. I like the guy doing his voice. He has the right combination of youthful enthusiasm and wily guile. I wasn't happy with Ultra Magnus getting sidelined throughout most of the movie's runtime, though. And I just have to mention the brilliant hilarity of the good Dr. Knockout. He certainly was a knockout.
Oh, Private, even for you, that pun was bad.
Alright, now it's time to break down the good and the bad in Transformers Prime, Predacons Rising. On the pro side of the scale, the action is cool, Bumblebee finally finding his voice was great, the shifting alliances between the various factions of Cybertron was interesting, no human sidekicks, and a fitting end to the greatest Prime ever to walk Earth or Cybertron. On the downside, Unicron doesn't quite have the villain presence I'd expect from the Destroyer of Worlds. And Megatron as a good, or at least not evil guy, I'm gonna need some time to get used to that. I give Transformers Prime Predacons Rising 4 out of 5. Thanks for watching, I'm the Stupid Private.